It's time. It's time to watch Inside Star Citizen. I'm going to give you a warning. I have been mining in Star Citizen since the time it came out. I have focused on that almost exclusively since the time it came out. I know the system inside and out, upside down, right side up, backwards, forwards, left, right, everything. Okay? And I am not okay with what transpires in this episode. So, if you are one of those people that can't handle the rants, this is not the video for you. At all. Here we go.
While other games offer resource collection in various
Doesn't he look like he's underground
mining, for
or
example,
underwater?
it's not necessarily a fun job to do in a game. This is where always with mining we've had this approach of like, no, this needs to be fun. Like every part of it, there needs to be fun. There needs to be a challenge. You need to have a risk involved. There needs to be something that doesn't quite end up as you planned in the beginning.
Okay, they started off good. And I think from the initial outset of mining, them focusing on it not just being clicking a rock, succeeded. I think it was really, really good. But here's where I lose it.
When I was with a friend and we hit the errand belt to look for some Quantanium, we stumbled over the problem that with a proper setup of the prospector, it was not even possible to crack like the biggest stones.
Holy shit. Literally everything about that statement is terrible. What it tells me is you don't play the game. You have no idea how it works. You have no idea what the optimal setup is. And you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? So, Miss Gabby, thank you for the raid. I am in mid-rant, so I apologize. First off, let's start immediately with I was with a friend. So we had not only one ship, we had two. Which means there is a 0% chance that you don't have enough power to mine a rock. Number two, the largest rocks in an asteroid belt are 5,122 mass. That is able to be broken by every single laser, including the Lancet. 5,122 mass is not big. There are 8,000 mass rocks on the moons. Those sometimes require a surge. These do not. So it is just not true. Number one statement. It is not even true. If you had the Helix laser, you could break that rock. It is big enough. It might be a little bit too unstable, but it is big enough. But if you had two friends, if you had a friend with you, it would not be too difficult if one of them just had a Lancet or you used any subcomponents, which, as we can see here, there are subcomponents on these ships. Okay? So, I don't know. If these are the guys who make mining, they have no idea what they made. So that's two. Number three, it is not too difficult if you know what you're doing. Now, I posted a poll, and I'm going to tell you, this is definitely going to become a YouTube video on the second channel, so I'll put the link to the tweet in the description. You guys in Twitch chat can type, I think, ! retweet or something, and the link to that tweet should pop up. If not, I'll find it, and I'll give it to you guys later. I made a poll and said, hey, am I just too good at mining and I know what I'm doing, therefore this situation that they're talking about does come up with other players and maybe just not myself. Okay? And this is where I was just like, what are you talking about, man? I don't know. So I think I have to type it. Let me see. There you go. But the link's not there. PC put the link in chat. So anyway, those are the first two, like, and three extreme red flags. Is they don't know what the optimal setup for the prospector is. They're literally making shit up because it's not true. If you're in Aaron's Halo, the largest rock is 5,122. It's never larger. I've never seen one larger than that, unless something has changed in very recent times. Okay? They, in their head, think that it works one way, but are not and guys, when I tell you, I have given all of the feedback, all of it.
It was not even possible to crack like the biggest
Like
stones.
crazy, non-stop giving feedback on
In
mining.
the previous updates, we kept adding more and more tools for the players to mine, and we also ramped up the difficulty of the mineable rocks.
But not enough. Not enough. Well, what they show on screen, Arakasi, is just for the visuals. For them to, like, waste the time to find the best rock is kind of silly, right? To fit with it, but yeah.
This presented us with a bit of a problem where, since we went more and more towards a multiplayer, mole experience, 2-3 prospectors working together, the problem became that single players kind of were unable to reach that content.
This is what I just... Guys, we've done large mining operations on this stream with everybody. There is... Again, this is just simply not the case. In my experience, it is not the case. And that's why I made that tweet. Is this the case for you guys? I have no idea. But in general, this is not the case. The changes that they made, and this is the feedback that I gave, did not create a multi-crew experience, did not create a multi-prospector experience, because once they added the consumables, you added, okay, so every laser, every consumable, and now the next things all have the same qualities, right? They lower instability, they lower resistance. Instability makes, you know, the jumps in your mining power go down and like be less crazy. And then resistance allows you to break tough to crack rocks. The higher the resistance, the harder, the more power you need to break them, i.e. the more lasers you need to break them. But they never created a situation where you absolutely needed 2 lasers to break a rock, because they put in consumables to counteract that, like the surge. So the surge is difficult to use. It's going to be crazy. Now, I'm not, again, like Elliot typed in chat, and he's a dev at Star Citizen. I am going to make a very polished and as infographic and as detailed description of my feedback and the issues with the mining system and how wrong I think they are and how little they understand of what they created and how we play it. I think they have a design in mind of how it should work, but they have no idea how it is actually working based on the things that they're saying here. And I have to find a way to say it in less ridiculous terms. And yes, I am mad, but the only reason I'm mad is because I've given the feedback, it was ignored, and now I'm going to give it again. I have to give it again. I have to do more work to give it again. And not only do I feel it was ignored, but I feel like we're going to get to this part, but I feel like they're wasting development time, and they're wasting our time, and they're wasting money by doing this.
Not being able to mine very hard rocks. So we figured out that there is a niche that we need to start catering towards.
No, there's not. There's literally not.
So whatever we did for single player needed to be harder and have heavier risks involved. So this is where we came up with the idea of the mining gadget.
Okay.
The mining gadget allows the player to access those super difficult rocks, but it comes with an entry-level cost. it comes with an inherent risk, which is anyone can just come in, shoot you, they can come in and steal your ship. There's so many things that can happen.
There's so many things that can happen. Here's the next thing. The Prospector is one of the easiest to kill ships. It's not good in atmosphere. If you're in a Prospector and somebody is coming to pirate you, kill you, stream snipe you, whatever, trust me, you're as good as dead. Unless you are very quick on the radar, and with stealth mechanics now, you are literally dead. There's nothing you can do. The best thing now is if they took this might be like a future understanding of the game. If you pirated a player while they're outside their ship, you can probably incapacitate them. Eventually, we know that there's like handcuffs in the game. You could tie them up and ransom them for UEC or something like that, right? That is about the biggest change that could happen with this system from what already is happening to miners. The Prospector dies super quick. You will not live. So, but this creates that ransom hostage situation a lot easier. But we also know in the future, disabling ships, boarding them, all that stuff should be a possibility. And why wouldn't it be a possibility with the Prospector?
In total, we have right now 6 devices. So we have one, like the Bormex, that is for resistance reduction. We have the Sabia, which is for instability wave shift.
Wow.
It's a mix of resistance reduction and increasing the optimal charge window. We have the Okunis one, which is also for instability reduction and having the optimal charge increase.
Guys, the mining lasers reduce instability. The mining components reduce instability. The mining gadgets reduce instability. This is all they do. There's no variety to it. All they did was continue to add the same things onto these gadgets and put them in different places. Like, I get it would require more work to create more variety. But we're going to get to that in a second of why I think that is a problem, okay? And that's going to be the part when Jared comes up.
Then the Stalwart, its increased charge rate and also some moderate resistance reduction.
I assume these changes would come with much bigger asteroids.
The optimal
they think the current asteroids are too difficult.
Charge rate increase.
So part of the idea behind this was that, there's a conscious decision that you think, okay, this mining deposit has a lot of stuff I want. It's quite difficult to mine. I'm going to take a little bit more time, go outside, and place this gadget.
Once you placed it, then you have to find the resonance of the stone that you just attached the device to. It's our mini game, but it's a meaningful mini game.
It's kind of a small puzzle, aligning some slider bars with a wave. The idea is that if you get over a certain percentage, you can activate it.
There's a confirmation, so it starts blinking. That means that it's now functional. You get back.
Again, I think this is what they're trying to do to bring. I think they looked at Elite Dangerous and was like, we need to do something like that. I still think Elite Dangerous is a way better version of mining. The deep core mining, I think it's called, than anything Star Citizen has done yet. I think it's more tactile, it's more meaningful, and it is just more epic.
Back to your prospector, and you do your mining process.
It's gonna put this effect on the rock until you destroy the gadget, you deactivate it.
Deep core mining.
Or the rock breaks apart.
That's essentially what they're trying to do here.
Right now we're really working on the animations and the art for it. It's gonna be a lot of work in progress.
As to where we want to take the miner player experience in the future, we are looking right now at ship refining and getting the Starfarer to be able to refine whatever the Prospector and Maul are harvesting right there on.
The Starfarer refining rocks? I thought it was just a liquid refiner. I guess, okay, so Quantanium is fuel.
spot together with their mining buddies. And that's what we think will close that lovely gameplay loop of resource acquisition from mining.
Okay, yeah, that is cool. So like I'm gonna where I think the positive things are positive. I think the little mining, the little gadget mini game is really good. It's not quite elite, but maybe we're getting there. And the refining part is cool. The other things, I honestly don't think they understand the current game, the current player experience. I really don't. And I'm gonna do my best to provide the feedback to share. Why I think solo, like, guys, have you ever seen a multi-crew mole? I've only seen solo moles. I've only ever seen a solo mole. I've never seen anybody. Yeah, you do hear thunder outside. So I live in Florida, guys. This is normal, but I've never seen multi-crew mining ever. The only time I've done it is when we've kind of like faked it. So, yeah. So what's the solution? The solution is not to just create harder rocks, but to create more varying rocks and to create more dense veins of ore. So create new and interesting variables that come, like if it's a metal rock, if it's obsidian, if it's quantanium, right? Each one has its own interesting and unique variable. And then the size of the rocks, when you do come across, like, yeah, most of the rocks you come across should be small, should be easy-ish to mine, should be doable by a prospector, but occasionally, very rarely, but occasionally, you should come across a rock that requires more than 2 lasers, no matter what you do. It's simple math. I even received, like, I don't know where it is, I have to find it, but I have the formula for the mining laser. And to I've multi-crewed a mole and it funds when it works, but it's never more lucrative than 4 prospectors. Yeah, of course not, because the ability to spread out, because ore is only 1 rock at a time. Now, if you put everything in one place and there was veins that you had to go back and forth to, the mole would be more profitable and would be more lucrative to use. Now, this, guys, this is where this is where I lose my mind.
Mining gadgets are the latest in a long line of expansions and improvements to the overall mining gameplay as the team continues bringing it up to what we'd consider a gold standard for other professions to follow. And you can...
That is what's worrying, is when you have a team or you have a system. Oh yeah, there it is. So that's the thing. And the 1400, that's the power of the laser. So the gold standard of mining, if this is the gold standard of mining, hey, people that are interested in salvage, science, you should be worried, because they started out really, really good, and then I think they just kind of lost their way a little bit and took the excitement and the challenge of mining away. Right? I think, for me personally, I think we want everything in Star Citizen to have some skill involved in it. And when you continue to bring on these gadgets, now if I take the mining gadget plus the consumables plus a mining laser, I'm pretty sure I could just click and hold my mining laser and then maybe very rarely like go up and down on the power and just be able to mine everything with ease. So, and that there's a bit of challenge to it right now, and I think that's the problem that I have with it, is there's a bit of a challenge, but it's not really a challenge because everything can be done solo, and I think the game needs more of a challenge to create meaningful multi-crew experiences. And whether that challenge is way more ore than can fit in a prospector, or way more resistant than any laser with any consumable could mine, then the gadgets have value. Then bringing more friends have value. And that's where I have the issues. And guys, like, I'm sure some of you guys are going to say, you're just ranting, you're just negative. Like, when I tell you I know this system up and down, like, I literally know the formula to determine whether or not you can mine a rock. If I know the formula, I don't understand why they don't. Like, I can take a lancet and mine literally everything. It just doesn't make any sense. Mike, you're losing your perspective. Is a gold standard in the profession loop because you have FPS mining, you have vehicle mining, and you have ship mining, you have consumables, now gadgets in the future refining. That's the loop CIG is talking. Don't worry about the complexity or variety or value when we are in freaking alpha. Really, Brandon? Okay, so I didn't expect this from you personally, but let's break that down a little bit. Unless you're like joking, but I think some people are going to have this perspective. Alpha is when you are bringing the features in, typically, right? So if we're bringing features in, we're expecting them to be built over time and be fun and be engaging and get better over time. And I think, personally, I think mining has gradually gotten worse over time, has leaned more towards solo play than ever before. And that's the issue I have with it. I sort of get the perspective you're coming from where, but the alpha part is where I can't agree with, is they are creating the gold standard by creating a loop, and then that hopefully coming in and making it more complex and interesting and engaging. The thing is I actually believe they think they have. Based on the things that they're saying, they think that rocks are not mineable when they are. They think things are too difficult when they're not. And they think they created multi-crew scenarios when they haven't. Those are the issues that I take. I'm not worrying about the complexity as much as their complete misunderstanding of the current system, or lack of listening to feedback, or lack of feedback given in a proper channel, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I didn't reach out to the right people. I know I explained my perspective on creating better rocks. I was told that they might prototype it, and but it's probably not going to be coming until Pyro or something. So there's a chance that that's in their back pocket and they wanted to do all these things. But needless to say, I am quite disappointed in the fact that most of the work and time spent has been creating instability, resistance, dampening, and creating a bigger green zone on 4 different updates. We had the mining laser update, then we had consumables, then we had they're not called consumables, they're like constant. They made the ones that aren't consumable. That's the 3rd update, and now the gadgets, and they literally all do the same thing. And you would hope modules, thank you. And you would hope they would have done more with that. So that's just how I feel. If we're going to like move into salvaging after this, we're hoping that they would have done more, because I expect more from Star Citizen. Okay? I expect more from them. This is what they do. They create the expectations of best damn space sim ever. Then you should have the best mining in gaming, right? You should have the best mining out of all the space sims, and you don't. Elite Dangerous does, right? Elite Dangerous absolutely, with deep core mining, has the best mining in any space sim. And the changes that they've made have, in my opinion, have only made mining worse. They are a few tweaks from it being way better, though. So I'm telling you guys, I'm going to put together a video for next week, and I am going to break it down in extremely fine detail with B-roll. As I'll maybe try and make a video with the editor, Jack, to make it really like maybe infographic heavy and really easy to understand. So
You can look forward to
Here we
working
go.
with them when they arrive in the upcoming Alpha 316. But up next, it's sprint report time, so let's get to it. Let's start things off this week with the world of in-game brand logos, where a final pass was recently completed for the Mercenary Guild. Now, when hired guns were sought to provide services that had normally been regulated by more official channels after humanity's first contact with the Xi'an and the subsequent war with the Tavaran, some of the largest mercenary firms banded together to form the Mercenary Guild. Now, since then, they've helped protect their members from fraudulent companies and protected their rights to operate within UEE space. Now, among these options, it was the first one that was selected to enter the persistent universe.
They show the other ones at the bottom, though. So, Interstellar Transport Guild. That is interesting. We saw the transport missions, right, that are coming. This is the Miners Guild, Bounty Hunters Guild, United Resource Workers, and Mercenaries Guild. So this is maybe like refining or something. So this is all really interesting. I know it's just logos, but it also is like future gameplay, future reputation-based systems.
Now, among these options, it was the first one that was selected to enter the persistent universe.
I like that logo too.
Work also continues on the Drake Vulture, the entry-level salvage ship scheduled to come online sometime next year.
318 right now.
Currently in gray box phase, this is where the team looks to add as many signature Drake elements as they can, steering into the heavier, more brutalist aspects found in other Drake spacecraft.
What are you guys' feelings that the Drake Vulture is the first
follow along with its progress as it continues over the next coming months?
salvager ship when the Reclaimer's been in the game for a while? I think listen, man, it looks really bad. It looks really bad. I think the Vulture looks cool. I'm talking about the fact that the Reclaimer's been in the game for a while, but the Vulture is going to be the first one. I think it looks bad, but I mean, the Vulture is the prospector to the Mole, which I'm sure there'll be a Mole version of Salvage, and then the Orion we still don't have in the game for Star Citizen, and that's the Reclaimer, so it sort of makes sense. Matt, I'm going to show the gaping holes. Yeah.
Moving on over to the character team, members have taken a sprint to update some of the texture sets for the various inhabitants of the persistent universe, both NPC and player controlled alike. The work is subtle, but by including a number of irregularities and imperfections throughout, it helps us achieve a greater sense of realism and expectation when engaging the characters you meet throughout your journeys. And the best part about all these is that the improvements aren't just for the NPCs you'll encounter, they'll also be used in the character creator once they're deemed ready. And if you're wondering what happened to the eyebrows, me too. Turns out the team is looking to add customizable eyebrows to the character creator as well. So they'll no longer
It's actually
be baked
important
into
for
the
a
face
character
textures
creator. I
that
think
you
one of my
see here.
defining features are my eyebrows. But
Now, as with all things you see on Inside Star Citizen, all of these are still a work in progress, but it's been a while since these faces got some love, and it's exciting to see their time on the development wheel come around again. And you can also see here how they can come together with facial hair and scalp to form the best version of old Eckhart yet. Just look at Mama Miller's Mighty Man. Looking good, Phil. Speaking of the character team, I'm going to sit quiet for a little bit and let you all take a look at the newest armor set coming to the persistent universe, the Queerness Tech Medium Armor.
people are losing their mind over this, man. Every thumbnail was this armor yesterday in every YouTube video. Brandon, I'm gonna literally fight you to the death at the end of this video. But I think you're just trying to trigger me, which is why I ignored your last statement. Armor Sick, I hope we're never able to buy this one from Captain Prox. Just wait. No. Huh? Okay, can you wait?
As for where you'll find it, try Hurston Security. And before you ask, yes, they'll be lootable. Let's all rage against the machine, everyone.
It's Hurston Security Armor. You could find them at outposts, and they can be looted. Huge.
Those of you who watched the Pyro presentation at CitizenCon or Josh's in-depth tour of the pre-production process for Outlaw space stations on last week's Star Citizen Live may have noticed that graffiti plays a noticeable part in how the various outlaw gangs scattered throughout the system identify and claim their territories. And what you're seeing here
this is not
the first
Pyro.
pass initial exploration of murals to be found throughout those stations.
This is very important
These are the
for Star Citizen's overall development. This is not 90% art. Or this is not necessarily art. Believe it or not, this is actual gameplay. This goes all the way back to when I fell in love with Star Citizen. Dynamic economy. When economies struggle throughout the systems in Star Citizen, what they said would happen is that the city, when it has a bustling and good economy, might look beautiful. But then over time, if the economy starts to fail or struggle, you'll start to see graffiti on the wall, garbage on the ground, and things will start to become disheveled. This is basically, I believe this is basically the start of that. It'll almost definitely be like just in Pyro for a long time. But these type of things, especially what they're doing, is based off of like the different criminal gangs. That we can see how that stuff will end up being a part of the game. And, you know, you can spam copium all you want and imagine and all that stuff, guys. But that was an original part of the project that I think a lot of us were interested in at the time. And most of you probably forgot, so I thought I would share that. That this is more than what it seems to be when you look at it.
The earliest of explorations.
So not
helping
all,
to see what
not
works
all negative.
and often
Okay?
equally as important,
Actually, some
what doesn't
positivity
work,
here.
What doesn't read to the player, and what simply is or isn't the right ethos for each gang as the narrative team had designed them. Now from here, explorations will continue, and if you haven't seen the full-length pre-production explorations of these upcoming Outlaw space stations, you can check out the SCL replay with Josh Van Zulen up now on YouTube. Just don't let the Italian Spider-Man ruin it for you.
Right, like Arc
It was
Corp
a good
could
demo.
eventually look
Josh
like
did
this.
really good.
Things
You
like
can
that.
see it after that part.
Exactly, Mighty Wrath. So, most of these guys don't get
Continuing
that
with the
stuff. They're
Outlaw
just here to
space
be
station
idiots.
explorations, the team began a pass on some new exterior
I'm sorry, but this is it. This is the best looking station I've seen yet. This is amazing.
thumbnails, looking for ways to differentiate the structures found throughout Pyro from the ones you're familiar with in Stanton.
Wherever that is, I
Now,
want to
we've
live
said
there.
it before, but it always bears repeating. Concept stage is the testing ground for new ideas, and most of the early concepts you see for any character, feature, or location may never be taken to
The
completion
tall ones on
or
Iron Halo, that'd
implementation.
be sick.
And
Is that
in
what it
some
says?
cases, like good old number 1, into completion early concept in Stanton. Differentiate the structures
No, they all
found
say
throughout
Pyro.
Pyro from the ones you're familiar with in Stanton.
You think this one? Oh, yeah, this kind of looks like the one that was at Aaron Halo, right? And it would make sense because they would like block it off on the sides. Yeah. And this one doesn't have. Oh no, it has a name. It still says Pyro Station Exterior Exploration Dev. I don't think
We've
that's
said it
Aaron's
before,
Halo.
but it always bears repeating. Concept stage is the testing ground for new ideas.
They
And
showed it
most
before?
of the early
Okay.
concepts you see
I would
for
hope it
any
would be.
character, feature, or location may never be taken to completion or implementation. And in some cases, like good old number 1 here, they may actually be held for potential use in a different star system other than the
This
one
one's
it was
kinda
originally
interesting.
intended for. But that's how the process works. As for which one or ones will move forward into the Pyro system, it's still too early to say, but we'll be following along with every aspect of the new star system from now until the day it arrives in the persistent universe.
Bit of Babylon 5, true.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the impressive faces in the persistent universe are well on their way to being even more so. But there's gonna be some mayhem on the outskirts of Hurston as people try to obtain the latest fashion.
Yes.
That just because you're an outlaw doesn't mean you can't express yourself artistically. And that Pyro aims to be the anti-Stanton in every way it can be.
He didn't even mention
including its
mining.
space stations. Now, Alpha 315 is currently available to all players on the
Because we didn't
PTU,
learn anything new about
and it
mining.
should be going live. It's so close it could shoot you full of Roxafen and you wouldn't know it until it's too late. Keep an eye out on the website to find out when. And don't forget to check out the new 400i from Origin and the You Dropped the Bomb on Me, baby, Hercules A2 from Crusader Industries. And we're just 2 short weeks away from Alpha 315-1 and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. So to kick things off, next week's show is
315-1 is 2 weeks away. We don't even have 315 live.
dedicated entirely to the vehicle experience team and their work on 315, 316, and beyond. So come on back and check that out. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm
This
Jared
is from a
Huckabee with
year ago,
haircut.
apparently.
We'll see you all next week.
I'm trying to click the link, but it keeps moving. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like one of them, but I don't know. That's from Guerrilla Games. That looks like a less good version of what they have now.
Operational
So.
missions that I actually got my hands on were to go to woods and kill some scavengers.
So, guys, that is ISC. Again, I'm not happy with the mining changes, but I will be a good citizen, and I am going to make a. I'm gonna give as much feedback and do as good as I can to get my thoughts and feelings out there in a constructive way.